Say Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Twameva Bandhusha Sakha Twameva Twameva Vidya Dravidam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. This mantra have been given by Sri Ramanujacharya. Yeah. Actually, this mantra itself, it is where one have to place our belief, faith, trust, and everything else. It's because you see, often people think gurus are just guru. They take guru just like that. Some people like changing gurus like change clothes. I will not say which kind of clothes they want to change. You can imagine it yourself. So it's true, because they don't have a notion of what guru is. So when you take shelter at the guru's feet, all the past relationship disappeared. Because then you're taking shelter into a new family. That become your mother, your father, your relative, and everything else. The karma that you hold with your parents, with your country, with your friends, with the people that you meet, which finally bring you to the feet of the master itself, where you have to be, where you have to grow spiritually. All these things you have to finish. Once you have take shelter to the feet of the guru, that past things is finished. That means karmically you're not related. Physically you're related to them, just to clarify, not to make mistake about it. Physically you're still related to them, respect must be there, but karmically, that karma that you share for you to be born there is finished. From that onward, when you take initiation under the guru become everything. Your mother, your father, and everything else. That's why in the Guru Parampara, it's like this. Whenever somebody asks you, who is your parents? What do you ask? Who is your father? Who is your mother? Who is your relative? So Guru become all this. Guru Mata, Guru Pita, Guru Bandhu, Guru Saka. So Guru become all these four things. So even if Giridhari Ji is there, who should you bow down to? Exactly, to Guru. Without the grace of Guru, you will never know who Giridhari Ji is. But by the grace of Guru, you get to know. By the grace of Guru, Giridhari himself will present himself. So, Guru hold one of the highest, even higher than God himself, position. That's why Lord Krishna chose to be the Guru of Arjuna, to teach him, to guide him. By doing that, he said also in the Gita, take shelter to the feet of the Guru. But not just plainly like that, because very often people just take shelter to any kind of Guru, but yet the Guru is after things from them, but the Guru don't want anything. Guru is only here for you to be free. That's it. To liberate you, to free you from that cycle of birth and death, free you from Maya itself. That is Guru.
Jai Gurudev, everyone. Thank you, one and all. In the name of Sri Swami Vishwananda and Mavatar Babaji, I welcome you to this Prem Lounge by Bhakti Marga, South Africa. Thank you all for making the time to join us. And I know it's a Saturday night and lots of people have got other commitments. So thank you for joining us tonight. Hope you're keeping safe and keeping warm. I know there's a bout of cold weather that's hit the country. So keep warm, have your blankie and coffee, popcorn, and join us tonight and cuddle up with Bhakti Marga, South Africa, with the Prem Lounge. So tonight, our special is we joining this Guru Sangha, and as we listen to the stories and experiences of the newly initiated devotees, newly initiated devotees who recently went to Kenya, and that trip came about in a matter of days, and their journey, which took place in Kenya with Guruji and Paramahamsa Swami Vishwananda. So we have 5 speakers with us today, and I'll be introducing and calling each of them on to chat. And at the end, we have a keynote speaker, Swami Vishwa Parantapananda. I'm sure everybody is familiar with Swami Parantapa, and he will also chat to us about his experience with Guruji in Kenya as well. So, that being said, let me start with prayer. Please join me in prayer. Agnanantimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasme Shri Guruve namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopeka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kaunchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Yakunde Tusharahara Davala Yashvabdra Vastravrita Yavina Varadanda Manditakara Yashveta Padmasana Ya Brahma Chuta Shankara Prapidipir Devi Sada Vandita Samapatu Saraswati Bhagavati Buddhi Pradam Sharade Buddhi Pradam Sharade. Jai Gurudev once again. Those of you just joining us, thank you once again. So, on our trip to Kenya, which I also attended, we had many events. It was quite a short trip, but within that space of time, many experiences were had and felt by many of the devotees. There was also initiation, There was Pran Pratishtha of the Yoga Nrsingadev, Narasimha in the Kenya Center, and a lot of experiences being met. And that being said, new devotees are newly initiated to Bhakti Marga, and their journey that has taken place in meeting Guruji for the first time, either as a devotee or as newly initiated into Atmakriya, etc. So tonight we're going to hear those experiences or testimonials or what beautiful stories from our devotees, followers of Paramahamsa Vishwananda. And that being said, first up we're going to have Julie Pillay, who is based in Durban, and maybe she can tell us a little bit more. Jai Gurudev, Julie, how are you?
Jai Gurudev, Apishkar, Prema Pujari Das.
Awesome. How are you doing today? Are you warm?
Yeah, very warm. It's Durban.
Oh, okay, good.
Not
Lovely.
that cold. No.
Beautiful. So, yeah, right. Tell us, you've got everybody's attention. Can you introduce yourself and have a little chat with us?
All right. So, my name is Julie. I am not yet initiated into Bhakti Marga as a devotee, but I am devoted to Paramahamsa Swami Vishwananda. I began my journey very, very late, but in reading the Bhagavad Gita Essentials, Guruji says, when he was asked that question, why was I called so late on this path? I don't have enough time to serve you. And he says, everything happens in your time. And for me, that resonated because I was never one from a spiritual family. So being part of Bhakti Marga, being part of this spiritual journey was absolutely new for me. And when I was first spoken to about Bhakti Marga and Paramahamsa Swami Vishwananda by Prema Pujari Das, it was one of the devotees, I was very reluctant to listen to what he had to say. I very much have an analytical mind. I question a lot of things, so I was very I was just questioning what do you mean this guru is so important, and as you've had all these experiences, my mind can't understand this. So it took me a while to overcome this challenge in my mind and understand that this journey is not from here, but it's from here. And I started going for chanting in January 2020 and met fellow devotees like Marilyn, Radha, Skanda Devi, and having chatted to them as well and speaking to Prema Pujari Das, I realized there was more to this than just a guru telling a story. So it was when we went into lockdown, really, and there was this beautiful guru giving daily satsangs and speaking to me and answering all my questions on a daily basis and overcoming all those objections that you keep on having running through your mind, that I started developing a relationship with Guruji, my own relationship, not what someone else was telling me, but what I was feeling inside. So it was this journey continued. I became part of a Bhagavad Gita reading group, which still continues today. And I was learning all about Krishna and the role in our lives and the role of Guruji in our lives. And I was listening to the satsangs daily. And then Guruji started online darshans. And I was in every single darshan, I was listening to and feeling this energy. I was told, you'll feel so much more when you have a physical darshan. But I was already feeling something. I didn't know what it was. I'm not going to lie and say I had this immediate connection and this love grew. And it wasn't that fireworks immediately. it was a gradual awakening. It was slowly building this relationship with Guruji. As time went on, I went to the Mandir in Melbourne, and I met the most beautiful soul. I call her Lilama. Many of you also call her Lilama, Priya Dasi. And she taught me more about this love for Guruji, and how to do the Guru Puja, and how to basically be a good devotee, but do it from the heart, not be false about anything. And it's been the most amazing experience being part of a Sangha. And I think as a new devotee, that has been the most important thing for me, to be able to be guided along the way, having my hands held as I went along, and not feeling like not understanding this world, not understanding Guruji or anything like that. I was completely held along the way. So my journey has been so much more easier in that sense. So I lost my mom very long time ago. And that was the most tragic part of my growing up without a mom. And strangely enough, I physically met my guru for the very first time on my mom's death day. And for me, it resonated in that you lost your physical mother, but you have your spiritual mother, because Guruji is father and mother to me. I'm gone ahead of my story. So as the year went, and it's only been the year of 2020 and 2021, I did my Atma Kriya Yoga. I was initiated by Upendrananda, and another intensely beautiful soul that has guided me along the way. And I attended the Sri Yanta course with Guruji in 2021 this year. And it's just been little things along the way that is leading me to somewhere that I wasn't quite sure about. I hadn't still had that link of that chain filled yet. There's still something that hadn't been done. So when this opportunity for Kenya came about, when the word came out straight from Swami saying that Guruji was going to be in Kenya, the excitement filled up, and everybody is excited, and you want to be a part of this. You want to meet your Guru because you've built a connection. You know him, but you feel like you've got to see it, you've got to believe it, you've got to feel it more. And so I took that opportunity with both hands, and off we went to Kenya. And that was the missing link that changed my life. Everything fell into place in booking and getting there. Okay, so there were little hiccups, but everything needed to happen the way it did. And it's all in his plan, it's all in his direction. And so we went to Kenya, and I met Guruji. My first physical view of Guruji was intensely personal. I saw him. I was not probably supposed to be where I was at that time, but obviously everything happened with the grace of the Guru. And I saw him, and it was just a melting of my heart. I looked at him, it was just a glimpse, and it was enough. It was really enough. I'm not going to go too much details into that, but my first darshan, I was told by Lilama, when you are finished with your darshan, just sit and absorb that moment. It's going to be special. It's going to be beautiful. You've got to feel it inside. So obviously with this monkey mind, you go in with a lot of expectations, and you think, oh, Guruji is going to read your mind. He's going to put something there that he's going to see and know how much I love him. And I know, like for every single darshan, online darshan, from the first one to the last one, I've only had one prayer for Guruji. Let me love you as much as you love me. I know that is impossible because none of us can love him as much as he loves us. He just loves all of us. And but this mind constantly asks that. And I went before him at darshan, and all those emotions people speak of, or can't even explain. It's not explainable. You feel that intense calmness within you, that intense love within you. It's still a surreal experience for me, that first darshan. I walked away without a thought in my head. All the thoughts were there before, but when you stand in front of him, you don't have any thoughts. It's just gone, don't know where it's gone. Then you realize it's not about your thoughts, it's about what's in here. That's not what he's looking at, that's where he's looking. And so don't expect to have thoughts, expect for him to read here. He's looking at your soul. And I went on to finish the darshan. I sat down, I processed my emotions, and the next I felt like, okay, that was too short. There's got to be more. I want more. And Guruji gave us more that day. He's just so giving. He gave us more that day. We were called to Rakesh's home, where there's this beautiful, and the other devotees I'm sure will share much more about this. So I'll just go briefly into it. His home is where a lot of manifestations happen. It's where Guruji's personal mementos are, and I think it's where Rakesh said to Guruji, you come and live here virtually. And this was shared to me by another devotee. And Guruji lives everywhere virtually, but in there it feels like his presence is just everywhere. But when I walked into that room, like other devotees, you didn't see anything around you. All you saw was Guruji. It's only when you go thereafter that you see the Vibhuti manifestations and all the beautiful things that happen in that room. But when you walked in there, you just saw Guruji and fell in love, and you had the ability to kneel at his lotus feet, something that is our aim. It is what our aim is, to be at his lotus feet, and you had that ability to be right there at his lotus feet. And that is where I was. But to say that entire connection was there yet, it wasn't. The best was still to come for me. So so much happened. Like there was so much happening in your mind, and with Guruji, I think, again, other devotees may say, I'm so new at this, so I'm just going with what I felt, what I hear. It brings out all the other emotions within you, sometimes negative, sometimes a positive. And you feel like he's taking out all this within you so that he can put you all back together, and he can absorb your karma and make you fresh and ready for the next step. And it tells you so much about this Guru. It takes all of that from you so that you can still come to him whole. And how amazing is that? How amazing is that to have that as our Guru, that love. That's so anyway, I'm digressing. We had the next day, we had darshan as well with Guruji, and but my moment came when we went to the mandir to do the ashram. We had to do well, Guruji was doing abhishekam, and we were allowed to be a part of the abhishekam. And I have a love for Narasimha. Narasimha is from the moment, and I didn't know Narasimha before. last year, I didn't know who Narasimha was until I went to the Shanda Narasimha temple and I looked at this beautiful Narasimha, and I was learning stories of Narasimha, and I was listening to all the satsangs about Narasimha, and this beautiful Narasimha was there. And for me personally, Guruji is my Narasimha. So when I was sitting there in Abhishekam, and I was looking at the intense love, the absolute intense love that Guruji was doing Abhishekam to Narasimha, that's when my connection happened. That's when it happened. That's when that link was closed. And that is why I am devoted to Paramahamsa Vishwananda. And I will be initiated and remain a devotee in Bhakti Marga to Paramahamsa Vishwananda, because that link is complete. He is my mother, he is my father, he is the lotus feet that I want to be at. There were so many things that happened in Kenya. All the other devotees will share with you. But for me, I met my Guru. I am on this path of bhakti, and it's unwavering.
Wow. See lots of people wiping the tears away. And I also got some tears away from that, wow, amazing story of your experience with Guruji in Kenya. For all of us to have that connection and connect with him like that. Thank you so much for sharing. Wow, just bringing back that emotion and that that feeling in Kenya. You can, that feeling is very much heartfelt. That being said, we have another speaker with us, another new devotee as well, a follower. I can't see Quinzell. Quinzell Vorster, are you there? You there? Yeah, you there. Right. Okay, cool.
Yes, I'm here. I'm bit.
Yeah, good there. How are you?
I thank you, Dave. Is the dance floor open?
Yes, you are the dancer. Yes,
When
yes.
I thank Gurudev to all of you, it's just wonderful to listen to Julie speak and all those beautiful moments of just the cherished time we could relive it and her beautiful personal experience. It's so beautiful. So when I asked Avish about sharing my story, I was quite nervous at first because I just didn't want to forget anything. So I wrote everything down and I wanted to just tell you all about it and not leave something out with a beautiful story. So please forgive me as I read, but I feel every word as I read to you, and I just relive this beautiful moment so much every day since being back also from our time with Guruji. So my name is Quinzell Vorster. I am a devotee in heart of my Guruji, Shri Swami Vishwananda. I'm also a yogi and a mother of a 17-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter, for who the last 15 years have been practicing Hatha Yoga, which is quite the conventional disciplined approach of Iyengar Yoga, but I traded that in for the more devotional part of Bhakti Yoga as taught by my beloved Guruji, Shri Swami Vishwananda. So I feel that the Bhakti principles weave in so well with the work that I've been doing for the past few years, and that is helping special needs children gain flexibility and strength through yoga and help them to correct and hold deformities. So my deep love for yoga has ultimately found its true purpose when I was exposed to the Bhakti path, especially Bhakti Marga and all its various practices. So just to share some of the practices with maybe new devotees coming in, and just those of you that feel that you want to submerge yourself in the practices, the array of practices that Bhakti Marga offers, from the Om chantings, the rituals and serving the beloved deities, the deeply transformative practice of Atma Kriya Yoga, to the contemplative exercises and such as the Sri Yanta painting and the Krishna painting meditations. One of my most favorite arms of bhakti being the kirtans, where I truly discovered the sweet devotion for singing for the Lord through chanting and just offering my voice to him. So, and to top that off, all on the cherry of the bhakti cake, being guided by a living, loving and breathing walking master. So just listening to his satsangs and the deep resonance of truth that it had brought to my life and the way that it has changed my life. It was not always an easy feat. It is still not. I learned to endure and push through by holding on to my faith in him, despite the opinions and concerns of family and friends for following a guru. My self-confessed infatuation with him, the photos of him in the prayer room, it must be hard for friends and family to understand that. But my eyes always remain fixed on him. So I know of no other path that showcases this marvelous bouquet of devotional practices that all culminates into helping us to realize and live our deep connection and to serve in a relationship with the Lord himself. The Bhakti Marga family, Swamis and Swamis, work so ceaselessly to spread the message of our beloved Gurudev, and the innovation of reaching out to those devotees who are called to join and are on the path, despite of most challenging times where we experience travel limitations and dealing with the world and the pandemic, doesn't cease to amaze me. The ashram in Germany, Sri Pitanya, offers online courses where you could submerge yourself into all things devotional, learn and grow and apply the teachings from the comfort of your own home. So it is through this very avenue that I was able to sign up for a 10-week Living Bhakti retreat with Krishna Priya and a group of beautiful bhaktas, which inspired me so much. And it illuminated much of the forms of bhakti and how it manifests in us and through us as we climb the bhakti ladder. So this is all the ashrams and the temples, all in honor of Guruji all over the world, is a living testimony of the hearts he touches and the dedication and devotion that those devotees have for him in serving him and to help spread his mission and his teachings. So it is with much joy that I will share with you my beautiful experience of meeting Guruji in Kenya. So spending precious time with the devotees and getting to know them all better. I was left by their touching, caring concern and their deep love for one another, and the way that they received me and helped me and guided me through this journey was truly amazing. And it made me feel like we are indeed family. Our mutual love for our beloved Guruji binds us together in heart. So the trip came as with many things and with Guruji, as I've learned in the close to almost 4 years of following him and being dedicated to the Bhakti path, quite suddenly and unexpectedly and full of surprises. It felt like we have all been a part of a beautiful Rasa Leela, just so intimate. From the deep longing to see him and to be with him and asking this even of him in one of the online darshans. He fulfilled that wish much more than I could have ever imagined. He manifested a whole trip to Kenya. So everything, he made everything work out. And oh, how we danced for him. And we sang kirtans and submerged ourselves fully without any concern for the outside world. We watched him do the yagna and sang for him whilst performing the prayers on Yoga Narashingadev. Our ears marveled at his beautiful satsangs, and being so very close and intimate with him was really a prayer answered. My path in Bhakti Marga started in earnest around 2018 when I met my beloved spiritual sister Ranga Devi Dasi at the International Yoga Day in the metropolis of Malayalam, my hometown. Though I had been practicing and teaching Hatha Yoga for the last 15 years and traveled to India and stayed in Rishikesh on the bank of the beautiful Mother Ganges, my deep love for Lord Krishna always burned like a smoldering flame, and my prayers was always in earnest to see his face, to know him truly, and to love him and to just be with him. So after meeting Ranga and her showing me a photo of Guruji, well, that was it. My heart skipped a beat, and I knew I had to see him again. In between, we had hosted a couple of Om chanting circles at my house, and even done an Om circle in the depths of the Sudwala caves. So my heart was home. The more I delved into the practices, the more I felt this connection with Guruji and Mahavatar Babaji and everything Bhakti. After the first online darshan with him in 2019, and through his grace, recognizing him as my Satguru and beloved Bhagavan, the trip to physically meet Guruji is still such a vivid bliss in the afterglow of all that we have experienced. Meeting the Lord face to face in all his majesty has left me choked up, speechless at times. All I could muster was just how utterly grateful I was. My prayer must have resounded like a mantra to him, shivering and holding out my tulsi mala for him to bless. And all I could say was, Lord, I depend on you alone. His piercing gaze and his splendor when he made his appearance on the first day reminded me of our fierce yet loving Lord Narasinghadev. The majesty and the glory that surrounded him was awe-inspiring. My jaw must have hung open most of the time. My hands clapping and my heart dancing at the sight of him walking down that rose petal path, and where I just spontaneously fell to my knees to greet him, all the while whispering, Prabhu, you are so beautiful. The visit to the Sai house and receiving his darshan there was indeed a moment I will cherish forever. And speaking to him, I had to swallow the tears, and all I could muster was that I had waited for him for such a long time. Tears and joy mixed with deep adoration and love. I could only bow to his lotus feet. Quickly, we were ushered out of the room, giving all the opportunity to be with their beloved Guruji. The prayers at the center where Guruji done puja on the Murti of Narasinghadev was also filled with ample opportunity for seva and adoring him. I remember telling one of the devotees, I just want to sing for him. And surprise, surprise, when entering the room at the center, the Kirtan band was fired up and they were chanting, while I just sat down and closed my eyes and poured my heart out to him. It's like he knows what we yearn for to do for him and provides us with a sweet opportunity every time. We were soaring in transcendental bliss from being so close to him. Spontaneous laughter erupted amongst us all, and the tenderness we had with each other, be it when we shared rooms or meals, were testimony of this. We were fed and taken care of so well, from the delicious meals that the Kenyan devotees provided for us to the comfortable hotel accommodation. My heart aches and soars at the same time for this memorable trip with him. The separation after being so close to him. Then I catch myself reliving the golden moments with him, in the stolen moments during the day. To be in his presence, to love him, and to serve him is the purpose of our lives. to be able to just be with our Lord and to pour out all our love for him and being graced by him with these opportunities are indeed a blessing. I pray that he continues ever to guide me so that I may grow and learn on this path, so that I may always be of service to him and to his beautiful devotees. I have written a poem for him about a year ago, which I would love to share with you. Paramahamsa Vishwananda. Jaya Jaya, joy is the signature, your mark upon all you touch. Jaya Gurudeva, in this relation, we are left to be not much, apart from hopelessly devoted to your master's touch. Jaya calls your victory, where every soul's yearning gets attended to by only thee. Jaya is your response, unwavering, the undeniable willing surrender of both lover and beloved, where one could not be without the other. Jai Gurudev.
Oh my, Quinzell. You need to come with a disclaimer. Have tissues.
My God, it's all you. It's all
Turned into something. Oh my God, there's so much of love. There is so much of love happening here.
There's so much of love for him. It's unbelievable.
I think we need to put a disclaimer. Come with tissues. Have your tissues ready to wipe those tears because there's so much of love coming out here. Wow. Thank you so much, Quinzell, for sharing with us and also your poem. And I'm sure we're gonna get that to him. He's gonna watch this. So we're gonna get that
I'll
poem.
definitely share it in a booklet for him.
Oh wow, even better. Even
I
better.
did ask him, yes, I did ask him with the darshan because I've been writing these poems since I was like in high school, and it's always been for the Lord. It's never been like toward human love. You know, I've been speaking about my soul in high school. I mean, what kind of a child, you know? But that's all for him. When I met him, I realized that is also just my seva to him. And I asked him with the darshan, please may I have this poems done in a little devotional booklet for you. And then he said, you can write.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Such grace, such love. It'll be great. Definitely, we're gonna share it. Thank you so much, Quinzell.
Pleasure, H.
Okay. Wow. We're gonna move on to our next speaker for this evening, which is Latasha Subban, Prasadini Dasi. I'm hoping I'm getting that correct.
Jai Gurudev, everyone.
Hey, Gurudev.
So one of the favorite things we love doing, as you can see, is talk about our Guruji. But Prasadini Dasi, let's start off there.
Sorry.
No. It's such a beautiful name compared to like Latasha when you really think that your Guruji gave it to you. So you don't really think about yourself in many ways until you meet your Guru and he gives you a name. And he says, well, no, you're Prasadini Dasi in your initiation, which was this year. And it means grace, serenity, purity, gift from God, you know? And then you look around you and you see that everybody's got beautiful names. And when you start getting to know them in the Bhakti Marga family, you find that they all resonate, those names. So Guruji knows something we didn't even think about. And, you know, you're jumping for joy because here's this name that he gives you and it's this new name you come through all your life. So the wonderful thing about Guruji is that he knows I'm a mom of 3 beautiful children, Shreya, Shivaya, and Shrihan Rudra. We all love him and worship him, and he loves children, and he makes you better at being a mom than you think you were. But my journey started when 2019. I didn't know about a guru, didn't know anything about gurus, didn't even know why I was going to this inauguration of a temple, and I call it day one, where I was dressed like a hobo. And I say that because I didn't rock up with a Punjabi or a sari. And here was Guruji. I met Auntie Dolly there because I know Auntie Dolly, and I used to always say, wow, what a handsome guru you have, and never clicked until I saw her there. And I still couldn't remember who this guru was. And the person behind me, when Guruji was coming, I couldn't see him. I could see Swami Parantapa, I could see everybody, but I couldn't see Guruji. And then the person behind me mistakenly pushed me, and I fell onto Guruji's feet. And he looked at me, and I was like, oh, I think I messed up with the Guruji. And the next thing, he was talking about my life. He had this discourse, and he started talking about my life. And I didn't know, there was like a lot of people in the room. And I didn't know, how did this man know? I didn't know him. I don't know him. What's his name again? And he started talking, and every word was about my life. And he had darshan. And I thanked him because I didn't think I was supposed to be there, but I thanked him for having me there. And day two, I call it when my children met him, and they bought all these bracelets. And he lovingly just took them and he put it to his chest, and he carried my son, and we were going through a very difficult time, a very lost time in my life. And he smiled at me, he smiled at the kids, and didn't speak to him. But day three, he kind of gave me a bit of, what can I say, a firm hand. He gave me a barfi that he bit. And I wanted my daughter to have it. And he's like, no, you need to eat that, so eat it. And I didn't know what was it for. And I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to the Guruji because I love him. There's something about him. I was there again. Day 5, he was talking about the gopis' devotion. And I felt that my devotion for him was growing. For some reason, I didn't know him very well again. But I knew I loved him. I just didn't understand it. And no matter what was happening around me, I just loved him. It's all I knew. There wasn't any desperation or anything. It was just this emptiness, but his grace was in it. And I've never felt grace before or love like that. By day 5, I was dancing for him. Not a devotee, not initiated, but I've danced from the age of 3 years old. And I have never danced for Narasimha. I've danced all the Krishna Leelas. I've done every exam on that. But I had to dance the 9 forms of Narasimha. And I didn't know Guruji made that happen. I just found it odd that there was nobody else to dance. And then I danced. And I got to speak to him. And that was life-changing. Because in that blabber, I asked him something which I think most devotees wouldn't ask is, can you be my guru? Because I don't know anything about the guru. And the next thing I was on this journey, this path. And I must thank Swami Parantapa because he also had to work with me a lot, and we had to find out a lot because I had so many questions about Guruji and the Bhakti Marga path. And basically, I started wondering that I had lived so long in this world. But the one thing I didn't understand is how did I get through so far without him? It didn't seem logical at all. My mind couldn't rationalize it. There were so many things I could experience, but when I met him, I didn't understand what or how I got this far without him. And things started changing really rapidly. My devotion needed work, like all of us. It's an everyday thing, but I wanted to be devoted. I wanted to learn more. And I used to attend the darshans, and I used to get like so emotional when Guruji used to just not talk to me or answer my question or when I put my hand up. And I had all these burning questions. And from 2019, right up till the time we went to Kenya, I had all these burning questions. I was initiated into Atma Kriya in 2019 with Swami Parantapa. And I found it difficult at first because I never used to meditate, and I was trying to understand why we were doing it. And then it started settling in, and I started remembering Guru when he was with me, and how we used to, and how those moments, those magical moments that he gave me, how they started settling in. So the Kenyan trip was quite remarkable because I said no to the trip. And I was very two-minded about it, whether I wanted to go or not. You know, you look at all the 3 kids, how are you going to leave the 3 kids, but I realized Guruji was saying yes every time I said no, whether it was affordability, whether it was leaving the kids. Everything was so smoothly done that I couldn't say no anymore. All I knew is that my name was put down and I was going on this trip. Doctors made themselves available to give me a vaccine, the yellow fever vaccine. COVID tests were clear. Accommodation got booked, and I'm quite a stressor when it comes to these things. It has to be textbook. It has to be booked. I need to know where I'm going. And he made it so easy. I didn't have to stress about anything. And for me, the whole trip was very nerve-wracking as well, because I had 1,000 questions that I needed to ask him, like 1,000. I wrote them down. I had them in my head. I practiced it. And I was like, Guruji, I've been on your path and we've been speaking. I got to speak to Mandarshan, and I saw his love for everybody. And I was like, Guruji, I'm missing you. I was missing you so much from 2019 that I met him, that I felt sometimes my heart would just pound out of my chest. And I'd cry because I really missed him. And it was a yearning that I couldn't understand. And I was like, oh, COVID. Why did it have to happen? I mean, Guruji was supposed to come back down to South Africa, or we couldn't even travel anywhere. And I used to speak to a lot of the devotees to see whether I was insane or not. Is this normal? You know? And a lot of them said, no, it's a yearning. We all are yearning for him to come. And I was like, can't he make a plan? In Darshan, everybody's asking, you know, when are you coming to our country, Guruji? When are we seeing you in this form? When are you coming? And he'll be so sweet. And he'll say, no, don't worry, I'll make it happen. And it'll happen. And, you know, this country is locked down, and he'll speak about it. And I would always be saying, but Guruji, you know, you need to make a plan because I really want to see you. And then the Kenya trip happened when it was just posted, and I was saying no. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you saying no? I was like, oh, but there's so many things in life that we have to worry about before we just go to see Guruji. And then I said, but Guruji, how long is this going to be? And then the next thing it was posted on the chat, no, he's only going to be there for like a few days. I'm like, oh, it's over a weekend as well. So this could work. So everything was becoming a yes from him. And I realized I was the one that was actually going to be saying no. And then when we got there, you know, there was this excitement about, okay, the Lord himself is going to appear. What are we going to do? Because you're a little more knowledgeable now that you're on the path and you initiated it. You feel like, okay, how are you going to see your Lord? So when God pitches up, what's the questions you're going to ask? And here's my 1,000 questions, all practiced and rehearsed. And day one, when he came in, it was like, I don't know, I think I stopped breathing for a few seconds. I think I really did. And I had to remind myself, no, you can breathe. I think Guruji wants you to breathe. And, you know, we bowed down and he looked at us and you don't know what to expect. You like, everybody is in such awe and he's got all these people. How is he going to make time for every single one of us? And I have 1,000 questions. So how is he going to answer that? And we go for darshan, and I could feel, and when he does the darshan, there were so many things that were burning in my heart. I don't know whether I'm sincere. I can't measure that. I don't know anybody else's sincerity, but I do know Guruji's sincerity. Because when he looked at me, all I could do was just cry. And I realized that he's not looking at, you know, Latasha or Prasadini, Dasi. He's looking into the soul that has lived so many lifetimes. I mean, you can just feel this. And there was no expectation at that point, because you don't talk to him when he's in that level of giving darshan. And we go to eat, and all of us were kind of thinking, I know I was thinking it, so when are we gonna like speak to Guruji? Because I have my 1,000 questions. It's all prepped and ready. And we get to go see Guruji. And I had not a single question. I couldn't speak. I looked at him and I realized with his smile, he knew everything. He smiled, he was patient, and he just knew everything. He didn't have to say a word. And I realized the one thing from 2019 to 2021, the one thing that I wanted to do was offer a rose to his feet. I just wanted to touch his feet. And when I had that wish burning inside of me, I got padams. He made it happen. I didn't know how I was going to get this, but it was there and I could get it. And I started worshiping this. And when, trouble hits you again and you're like, you cannot understand why it's happening, then you hold on to those feet. So I had this phrase, I wish I was the sand that Guruji stood on. I wish I was the material on his hem. I wish I was the seat. I wish I was the shawl. And all I wanted to be was by his feet. I just wanted to put my head down on his feet. And I wanted to leave everything there and surrender. And in that time, in that room, my 1,000 questions disappeared. And the one thing that I really wanted to do was offer that rose. And I'd bought a bunch of flowers and I had no idea how I was going to give the bunch of flowers. So I broke a rose and I carried it with me just in case I could just drop it on his feet or just offer it. And he said, yes, offer the rose. And I could touch his feet and I could put my head down at his feet. Well, for a while. And he was patient with that as well, because I didn't know how to get up after that. And I thought, well, where's all the questions, Because I had, this fear, how do you meet your guru? And what do you say? How do you behave? What do you take to him? And there you go, and you're all vulnerable. And he doesn't look at that. He doesn't look at anything besides what your true wish is. And that was the moment when I said, oh, Guruji, you make my heart literally jump out of its chest. And I didn't realize that was what I was verbalizing. Like, really, I thought I was saying that in my mind. And he starts giggling about that. I'm like, I mean that in a very good, Guruji, I don't know what to say to you sometimes. All I know is that, there's these burning questions. And I remember, and everything came flooding back after I stepped out of the room. I was like, oh, I had all these questions. Oh, I missed my chance. What am I going to do? And I said, but Guruji, I have in my mind, I'm like, I have questions for you. And I don't know whether I missed my chance or not. And I remember the one darshan, I was like, Guruji, I hope your ears don't burn, because I actually call you quite a bit like Guruji, 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 Guruji. And he started laughing. And that's how I felt, because in this trip, he was right there in his physical form. And yet we've been connecting on a different form where he just comes when his devotees call him. And we were so in awe of his physical form because he's perfect. He's seriously perfect. So after that, I was contemplating and I questioned myself. I doubted whether I did the right thing, just offer the rose, but that was my burning desire for it. And I had burning questions for him. And then the next day I felt, okay, a lot calmer and at ease. And when he did the darshan again, all my prayers that I had to ask was on a more calmer level, because he was more or less understanding. I felt that he was changing me inside, and I wanted the silence with him. And when we went to the Narasimha Puja, it brought back a lot of memories, because there was a Bansi said, you know, we've got a new Panditji. And I'm like, oh, okay, who's the new Panditji? And he was like, oh, Guruji. Guruji's doing the prayer. I'm like, oh, okay. And he was doing this prayer. And he was like a dancer, you know, the way he threw the petals or the way he turned. It was like he was dancing with Narasimha. And he woke up and he walked past. And I thought, well, you know, life doesn't happen if my Guruji doesn't look at me and say hello. And my heart was actually crying for that. All the questions again disappeared. And I was like, you know, if Guruji just says hello to me and just looks at me at this prayer, I'm okay to go. I'll tell my children goodbye and I'm okay to go. That's my happy wish. And then he wakes up and he walks and then he goes, Jai Gurudev to me. And I was like, Guruji, I'm not really ready to leave this world right now. It was just a phrase, but I'm so glad you said, Jai Gurudev, you knew me. And by the time we came to the day he was leaving, I remember waking up at 3:30 that morning, and I was quite sad. I was so sad because the first time I met him, I cried my eyes out, not knowing why I was crying so deeply for someone who was leaving. I met them like literally 7 days ago. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to be devastated. My guru is going. I can't hold him back. But I know he's in my heart, but it's just this pain that and I know a lot of devotees felt that. But I cried and I couldn't sleep. I woke up in a sweat and I was really thinking, what happened to Guruji? He's going to be leaving. I'm going to cry my eyes out, you know, and then I'm going to probably embarrass myself again by crying the way I did. And I don't really cry, except when it comes to Guruji. And we were talking and we went to the mandir where he was going to come and meet us. And he came in this jovial mood and he sang, and every word was like the vibration was higher, and he kind of had a party with us the way we danced, and our hearts were thumping for him, and we were in awe of him. You know, everything he said, everything he did, the way he interacted with us was. And then he says, no, he's gonna, you know, see all of us and speak to us. And amazingly, I had gone and he answered all my questions. He said, well, you know, I've answered everything. And he did, because in every discourse, every time he spoke to us, everything that I needed to ask him, he answered. The 1,000 questions got answered. And I still doubted it. I won't lie to you, being the human being that I am. I doubted some of it because I was like, did he really answer it? What did that mean? But I realized and remembered that, oh, we got vibhuti, like turmeric, and in a pouch at the time, and a sweet. And I said, I forgot to ask for my 3 kids. I spoke about them and stuff, but I forgot to ask for the 3 sweets for my kids. And, you know, I would like to just put the disclaimer here that it was a joke between Guruji and I, and he did it because everybody was really, really sad. That's what I believe. But I go to him and I asked Swami Prantapa to please help me because I was scared to go back. I didn't want Guruji to think that, you know, I'm just taking advantage and all of this. And I said, but I just want 3 sweets for my children, like 3 children. And in my mind, I said, Guruji, can I please have 3 sweets for and the only thing that came out was 3 children. And he looked at me and he puts his hand on his waist and he goes, you want 3 children? I'll give you 3 children. You want it from me? I'll give you the 3 children. And everybody burst out laughing. I was like, no, Guruji.
The whole hall, yes. The whole hall was like, I bless you with 3 kids. Yeah, I bless you with 3 kids. He's like, yeah, bless you 3 kids.
No, I just want the 3 sweets. And everybody had such a laugh. And everybody didn't feel so sad. And I know he joked because we'll have to talk about this Guruji soon. But we all laughed. We emptied ourselves with that laughter. That's how much he loved us. And the thing is, you know, everybody went there with their own story of how they met Guruji. Everybody has had a special moment or many special moments with Guruji. But everybody that I met, whether it was in Kenya, whether it was the Kenyans or the South Africans, Guruji made time for every single person. That's not humanly possible. I don't know my Guruji because he's the Lord. But I do believe he loves me and he loves my family. And he knows me. Even though I question, like, does Guruji know my name? You know, we go through this. But when he sees you, when you have an answer that you need to a question and you have your own answer, and then Guruji does come to you and he does tell you whether or not, you know, he's there. Every time you question whether he's there, I think he probably has, you know, a gab at us because we ask a lot of questions. Our minds just go. And when he's there, he has so much of time. He's brought me through from the darkest time in my life that I can ever talk about. And he makes me smile. People may call it an obsession. I call it the true path. I never knew what a guru was. I've met masters before, but I never knew what a guru was until his feet landed on my head. And the sincerity he has shown me and my children in our lives is not something I can describe. I can't tell you. I can only hope that you get to experience it as well. And when I start doing my practices, Swami Pranta will tell you I have a lot of questions about everything. But the questions is because I don't want to let my guru down. I mean, he doesn't ask us to be perfect. But when you see him, he's so perfect that it's so difficult to say, okay, I want to get this right because I want Guruji to be proud of me. And I know that somewhere or the other we'll get it right. But the way he has transformed me as an individual and a human being, I'm still on the path. I'm still early on the path. But I honestly don't know how I got this far without him. And I do know that I don't want to live the rest of my life without him. So I started reading the Bhagavad Gita a while ago, but I couldn't understand it. I read like the first 2 chapters about 16 times and I still didn't get it. I bought the Guru Bhagavad Gita Essentials and I love it because I'm beginning to understand it. And I believe in timing. Timing is everything. But I started reading the Guru Gita as well. I've been a Shiv Bhakt as well, because of dancing and all of these things. And Shiva wrote, you know, it was a conversation with Parvati, Mother Parvati, where he spoke about it, but it was verse 26 that I found myself constantly going back to. And in a nutshell, there's a line there that says, devotees basically, they know that with the grace of the master, everything is possible. And I just love that because I've had some very impossible situations in my life. And I know that when I went through those, I asked Guruji to be there with me. And there was no way I could have turned this around on my own. It's not in my control. But His grace has been amazing. And that's not why I follow Him, because He does things. He's not our servant. He's our master. He's our Lord. But that grace, even when we walk away or we doubt it, He's still there. And I've experienced that grace, that love. And, you know, one of the things that, for my birthday, I bought the cards and I love them because I meditate on them. But the one thing that resonated with me was when Guruji said, when you take somebody as a guru, a part of your heart is given to the guru, and a part of the guru's heart is given back to you. So there's an exchange of hearts. And ever since I met our Lord, our Guruji, my heart doesn't belong to me. It belongs to him. And it doesn't matter what the world says or what everybody else says. I don't care if people say whether I'm obsessed or mental or whatever they want to call it. All I care about is that my guru loves me and what my guru wants me to be and what he wants me and where he wants me to be. That's so important. And as a mother of 3 children, the one thing I'm so grateful for is that in my imperfection as a human being, the one thing I could get right with my children is my guru. Because that's where they are most loved. And whether I am here or not, Guruji is there for them. So I'm ever grateful. I'm ever thankful. And I'm forever in love with him. And I'm just happy that he's here for us. Jai Gurudev.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing and beautiful stories and blessing for the 3 kids. We always gonna teach you.
I'm never gonna live that down. I'm never gonna live it down.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're a little bit tight for time, so I'm gonna introduce the next speaker for tonight, and her name is, I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna call her Anita Bhaduram, and her spiritual name is Sarvamaya Prabhanjani, Dasi. So maybe you can clarify that for me and give me the meaning of your name. Anita, welcome.
Hi, Jai Gurudev, everybody. Okay, I'm at a distinct disadvantage because, you know, I'm feeling very emotional at the moment, but I'll try my best, yeah? Okay, yeah, no, this name, when I initially heard it, I couldn't believe that Guruji would give me a name like this, considering that he's given everybody else such beautiful names. So I felt it was my very ungrateful moment. However, when I saw the meaning of the name, I understood why he gave it to me. And I love calling myself Sarvamaya Prabhanjani Dasi now. Anyway, just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Anita. And just also how I came on this journey or on this path was I've been in a very abusive relationship, and I was very, very depressed. And to make matters worse, my sister had died, and I felt like I was left alone in the world, and all the love that I had from her basically had now gone. So that had pushed me to an even worse sort of depressive state. And I decided to pray to God. So I went outside and I sat on I was on my knees and I started to pray. But I was screaming and crying. I was mad at God, like, how dare he? You know, I wanted to die, and yet he took my sister who wanted to live, who fought so hard to live. So I was like really mad with him, and I said to him, I've been through so much. So if you still want me here, show me what my purpose is. There must be salvation. You cannot do this to me. And after trying for like a really, really long, embarrassing time, I got up and I went inside the house, and nobody spoke about it. I didn't speak about it, and no one else in my household. And me, because I was like totally embarrassed. I couldn't believe that I'd been beside myself. And anyway, so, you know, I just went about my life as normal for the next few days, and slowly my life began to change, and I suddenly had this urge to heal. And I joined going for Reiki class, and after about 5 classes, my Reiki teacher said to me, "The third eye is jumping. You should go to Swami Vishwananda to have it stabilized." And I thought, oh, what a crazy woman! Like, who is this person anyway? And I just didn't. I ignored her. But as Guruji says, that is where the seed was planted. And I just went on to live life for the next few weeks. And for some reason, one day I had this nagging feeling that I had to Google Swami Vishwananda. So I Googled him and read up a little about him and thought, I don't know if we should be actually, have a living master. Like, is that even possible? So anyway, I went on to, I thought I'll just listen to one of his songs late at night. And I waited until I had an opportunity, and I listened to Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Oh boy, that was like the turning point for me, because I then stayed up the entire night crying and hoping that nobody sees. My pillow was wet and I was crying. But it wasn't like, it was tears of joy. It was like, oh, I can't believe you found me. I kept on saying that, it was like, oh my word, God, you found me, like I immediately just connected and I knew who he was. And it was like, and then I felt a lot of guilt because I felt like I could faith in him. And yet he still loved me so much, and he came to find me. So the first thing I said to him was, oh, thank you, and that's where our journey began. And I started to obviously learn more about him and get more, and just try and understand who he was. And my journey of self-love began because I've been so depressed and just wanted to die and hated myself and all of that. And my journey began on, first of all, I started Reiki, so I started self-healing, and then I started my love journey with myself. And the more I fell in love with him, the more I fell in love with myself. And then I started to do videos that helped other people that were in my situation, and also people, mostly women, that stopped loving themselves. I taught them how to love them. It's obviously still a journey, but we're working on how to love yourself, and that is a big thing for me. And then I spent a lot of time just listening to his satsangs and so forth, and learning more about his gifts. And and obviously going to the temple, spending more time there. My journey is very, very new because I only basically learned about him at the end of 2019. And when the opportunity this year came around for me to be initiated in March, I hadn't really known too much. I was still trying to learn, and I hadn't even been to temple yet. A Bhakti Marga temple. I hadn't known any other devotees. The only person I knew was my Swami, who was in Belgium. So all of my learning and anything that had to do with Bhakti Marga was all done online. I had 1 or 2 darshan with him, but I still felt like, but I just felt the connection from day one in any case with the song. So I thought I'd just learn more. So anyway, I wrote everything down, and now I'm looking at the time and just trying to get too far. So my Swamini then told me that he's going to be initiating on the 9th of March, and we need to apply. But because I only knew him less than 2 years, I didn't meet the criteria to get initiated. So she said, it probably won't happen, but just try. And I tried. I had no expectations. If it worked, if he felt like I needed to be initiated, he would. If not, it really didn't bother me much. I still had his love, and I still had him, and I knew that he was looking after me and holding my hand and healing me, most importantly. So being initiated just meant that it would happen when it was my time. So anyway, fortunately, I was initiated, and then at that point, my yearning for just to see him and to be with him became quite strong. And when I heard about the Kenyan trip and that came around, it all happened so, from the minute I heard about it to the minute that I actually happened to be in Kenya was the smoothest trip ever. The preparations went very smoothly. The trip was very smooth. So obviously I knew at that point that that's what he wanted. He wanted me to be there. Yeah, and then I went and I had darshan with him. And the strangest thing is when I do darshan at home, I'm pretty, I cry and I have so much of different emotions. It's strange when I was with him and in front of him, because once I was laughing, and I was so fortunate that I had this mask over my mouth because I couldn't understand this. I felt like, because I'm generally a very serious person, so I don't spend a lot of time laughing, but all I wanted to do was laugh, and I was so embarrassed. I thought, oh, here I have him. I've been waiting for this opportunity, like for the last few months, and now I don't know what to do. All I want to do is laugh. Like, how embarrassing. But anyway, I suppose that was his way of bringing the child out in me, because I seem to have lost that somewhere. So anyway, yeah, the Kenya trip was planned like about 2 years in advance. Before I even knew him, I just randomly gone for a yellow fever vaccine. So, looking back now, I see how he planned this trip, or he knew that I was going to be on this trip. So for me, it was like, oh, he just wanted me to come there and see what it's about. So yeah, basically, I had no expectations. I just wanted to see him. The feelings I felt when I seen him was, I don't even know if there's a word to explain, what I felt and how I feel about him. I think it's a feeling. I wish I could even explain it, but I can't. And I'm at a loss for words, funny enough, on how I felt at that moment and what I feel, and I think all his devotees understand the love for him. And I think the love goes through different phases. For me, it has. Initially, I fell in love with him. I thought he was the most beautiful human being on the planet. And then you have to process the fact that he's not a human being. So you can't love him like you would, human. So you need to understand that your love is limited. And oh boy, that was like, so yeah, so the love I'd gone through many, many different phases, to a point where I now see him as God, and I feel like he's revealed himself as that to all of us. And he talked about the golden moments that each one of us has every single day and every hour of every day. And I think I've been a little bit more aware of it because I'm, I just basically have a lot of time on my hands. So I've had many, many of these beautiful experiences, but mostly it was, anyone that comes on this path or that meets him will understand that you finally understand what love is. It's just nothing else that I can say except that he's just, he's love. He's just love, and he embodies that. He talks it. He is it. When I walk around now, before I always thought that people just ignored me, but now I find that everybody is obviously so beautiful and so loving towards me. And it's got nothing to do with how they feel about me. It's how I felt about myself back then. And now, because I feel like I am loved, I feel the love from everybody. And just another thing is, I was afraid of the spiritual path my entire life because, you hear that you have to give up meat and all of these things. And it was scary for me to think about giving up meat because I loved it. But coming on this journey or just getting to know him was it's amazing how all your bad habits leave you. You know, so I didn't even realize that I stopped eating meat, and then I then stopped all my dairy products, and I just have changed my life, and I've become the person that I was. I think I'm on the journey to becoming the person that I would like to be, and I now have found a purpose for my life. I now do Reiki healing, and I do spiritual counseling, and you know, I do videos like so I currently sit like I'm sitting now and doing videos. Just not as nervous as I am now, but needless to say, I do videos where I help other people. And if I can help one person from somebody watching my video, I'm happy with that. And usually my videos are posted up on my Facebook and Instagram account as well, so other people can see them. And one of the things that I am planning on doing now also is teaching people how to cook vegan food with no onion, no garlic. Very simple. And hopefully they won't be too intimidated about becoming vegan. And okay, anyway, so coming back to the Kenya feeling, I think I'm still on an all-time high. I haven't had time to process. It's all just been so surreal. You know, he gives you everything you need when you need it, and oh my word, I don't know what to say except to say that it's you know, you learn. There's so much of love within yourself that you need to learn about, and he takes you through phases, as I said, on the cleansing process, and sure, that the Kenya Darshan was like, there was a lot of cleansing, a lot of emotions, some very embarrassing emotional outbursts, some very you know, a lot of the times I just thought my behavior was strange, but I understand all of it. He comes here to, as he says, he comes here to polish us, clean us and polish us, and I feel that that's exactly what he's doing. So basically, so my journey is still very new, and I'm hoping that I, you know, can learn a lot more, and I'm able to help other people that are interested in following this path and learning more about him. And I do that because I live in an area called Pillay, where no one's ever heard of him. I never heard of him either, you know, until I actually was told by my teacher. But I now tell everybody in Subban, whether they want to hear it or not. And people are so impressed that, because I speak about Guruji like he's, you know, like this best friend that I see every minute of every day, because everyone says, how's Guruji doing? You know, and then you gotta remind them that Guruji is actually a God, so he's fine, you know. But you know, the devotees, the Bhakti Marga devotees have been wonderful. It's a beautiful family. You know, I've gone to do Abhishekam, and I've been learning what to do. Obviously, there's a lot of learning still to do. And I'm happy to just be on this path. And I don't know what the future holds, but I'm excited to find out. So that's about it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Wow. Oh, for sharing so much with us, and all the beautiful things that you're doing as well. So it's going to be amazing to have you as well. And you're visiting the Joburg temple. So come a long way. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. For our last speaker this evening or night, it's Nithya Santhoshi Dasi, who will now chat with us about her experience. Are you on screen?
Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Prema Pujari Dasi. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me this opportunity.
Oh, Dasi. Hey.
Das. Sorry. always make that mistake with you. Sorry. So, Jai Gurudev, Prem Namaskar to my Guruji. Prem Namaskar, Bhaktas, Dhanyavad, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity and privilege to be in your company this evening. It has been a beautiful experience so far, as we have been listening to all the stories that have been coming through from the other devotees, and it feels that you are back in Kenya again, reliving all these beautiful moments, and I love it, absolutely love it, and being in his presence all over again. My name is Omsha Amirchand. My initiated name is Nithya Santhoshi Dasi, which means eternal happiness or eternal happy girl. And that's what I am from the time that I've been on this path. I am mom to a set of 20-year-old twins, which is Mayura and Madhurika, a girl and a boy. I am happily married to Raniel, my husband, and my journey began when I entered my 40th year, and I had all these questions. Is this what we have? Is this what life is all about? You're going home, you go to work, you sleep, you wake up, you go to work, you sleep, you wake up. It's an eternal thing of going round and round in this cycle. And I spoke about it to my mom and dad. My brother was there in Pietermaritzburg at the same time. And he says, oh, you know what? I've been reading up on these things. And maybe we've always had religious backgrounds. We come from the Gita Mandir, which is a beautiful temple in Pietermaritzburg. If anybody comes through, please come and have a look at it. We have a beautiful murti of Lord Krishna. And we're not new, it's not new to us to be reading the Bhagavad Gita or listening to all the scriptures, but practices, just makes you want more. You now have all these questions, but no one was there to answer them for me. And then Prema Pujari comes up and he says, you know what, there's these Om chanting practices that's happening. Maybe we should go for it. So the guinea pig, you go first, we'll follow. Anyway, he goes and then he comes back and he says, it's fantastic. And all the signs are there because it so happened that they opened the Om chanting 2 minutes away from my mom's home in Pietermaritzburg. And there we go, off we go, all three of us, we go and we do this Om chanting, and that's when our journey began. And that's when Swami Vishwananda came into our lives from 2018. And then the most beautiful and glorious meeting I ever had was with Vishwa Parantapananda. And as you all know, once you meet him, your guide, your life changes forever. You are so engrossed and lost in his stories, his infectious laughter, and I just knew that I could not ask for a better guide and protector to me and my family that have entered our lives. With Swami, we have attended a devotee course, the Bhagavad Gita courses, initiated into Atma Kriya, and we had a cooking course with Swami Parantapa. And those experiences were memorable and utterly unforgettable. With Atma Kriya, to receive the Shaktipat from Swami was a gift that I will treasure forever in this lifetime. But not knowing that the greatest gift was still to come. Swamiji gave me the foundation to build my spiritual life and introduce me to this beautiful Bhakti Marga family that is so loving, caring, and giving. To the fellow Guruji, to follow Guruji on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube has been the better part of the COVID during the 2020 and 2021 pandemic. I fell in love with his bhajans and kirtans and the beautiful japa and life lessons. Oh, how I looked forward to that 4 p.m. japa sessions and then after the Q&A. The knowledge that was given away, I was thinking about during the day. And I thought it was weird at first, But as the days progressed, it was just the way it was. Acceptance, gratitude, and immense calmness and love was given freely from Guruji. Then came the darshans. And after my first Zoom darshan with my family, all I ever asked for was to see him in reality and receive his blessing. That was my dream, and that's all I ever wanted. And in COVID times, never in my dream did I myself think of going to meet Guruji in Kenya, of all places, a third world country in Central Africa. But with surrender to his glorious lotus feet and absolute trust in him, I made the journey across Africa with my mom and brother, Mega Sharma Dasi and Prema Pujari Das. As you all heard from other devotees, it was seamless. Everyone on this call knows that when you want to meet your Guru, your Satguru, he makes it happen. I heard it so many times, but to physically experience it, if I have to tell anybody else outside the Bhakti Marga family, they will not understand it. It was seamless. Yes, few glitches along the way, but those were, small glitches. For somebody that had to fly first time, everything was a first. First flying, first going into Central Africa, first getting to meet Guruji, and being in Kenya, meet other devotees. Everything was a first, and it was so seamless. He made it seem absolutely gorgeous. And for me right now, I'm still on that high. I'm still happy. Yes, I'm crying. Yes, he's cleansing. And yes, he's doing everything else. But to know, to actually have been in his presence, to be there, to see him looking into me. We do this puja every day. We do the Guru puja, the lamp thing, doing it to his feet, to his photo, to everything. And here I'm holding the arti in front of him, and I'm doing the arti physically to him. That, for me, I would always, always treasure. Oh, it was just an amazing experience, such an amazing experience. People say you have no words, and yes, exactly. There is no words to explain. I was eternally grateful, eternally happy, just to be in his presence, to feel that energy, that positiveness, the beautiful, beautiful vibes. As Anita just said, you know what, you were laughing. We were in close association with other devotees that have the same energy, that have the same love, that also want the same thing from Guruji. Yeah? Bhagavad Gita states that if you're greedy, you're a Rajasic person. I'll be Rajasic anytime because I'm greedy for the love of Guruji. I just wanted more and more and more. The 6 times that I saw him physically was not enough. You didn't want it. You just wanted more, and that's it. That's it. We just want more and more. And true and as gold, your first meeting, don't ask me about it. I don't know. People told me don't have any expectations. You go there. I didn't even think. And the worst thing was I didn't want to do anything different. I didn't want to do anything, that would make him feel awkward, make me feel awkward. And yet here I go. There's people guiding you, telling you where to go, what to do. And I go and do the wrong thing. I bow down to him. And then I hear somebody in my ear say, you're not supposed to do that now. Wake up, wake up. I was like, I wake up, I've got tears in my eyes. I don't even see Guruji. They tell you, okay, you can go now. And I go, and I'm like, is it over? Is it done? And you go and you calm yourself down. Your heart is pounding out of your chest, and you go and off you go. And after that, wow, I can't believe it. I've seen him. He's seen me. my soul, my Atma. He hasn't told me anything. That's the best part, you know. He hasn't told you, oh my God, I don't want her as a devotee. Look at her. She's awful. No, he just smiled. The next day he was back again. And we were there and we saw him again. And that was amazing. Very nice. His love, his grace, his beautiful, beautiful smile, his kirtans to sing with him. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. To see him doing puja again at the ashram, and we do puja to him, because just to be in that presence of him, you know, you were like meters away from him, and he's doing, to see that love and devotion on his face, doing puja to Narashimadev was absolutely awesome. And you know, I'd hold this forever. I'm sure lots of people have many, many different experiences, and still crying, still being happy, still seeing him on you know, YouTube and everything else, and it's just still so lovely. And I would just like to say that from my side, and I'm sure from a lot of the devotees that have attended, I would like to say to the people, the organizers, the background, I'm an event planner for FNB in KZN, and I understand what it's like. We were over 40 devotees going from Kenya at a click of a notice, and the Kenyan devotees had to worry that they had to prepare for Guruji coming, an opening and an installing of a murti in their ashram, and then also worry about us, which is 40 or more devotees, you know. And it's not just one person that would have different ideas or different complaints or whatever it is, and they dealt with all of us. And for that, extremely grateful. They handled us so beautifully. Even the South African devotees behind the scenes, they handled all of us so beautifully. It all went seamlessly. And to be together doing Om chanting on that Tuesday, I think it was, that Tuesday morning with other devotees just brought such happiness to all of us. To me, my mom, it was beautiful and we loved it. And coming away with all these happy thoughts, again, I just want more. I'm greedy for more, and I want more. And I know that my Guru will help me make it true. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, Omsha. Jai Gurudev. Nithya, Santhoshi. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Giving everybody a lot of information and insight to our trip. Wow. Thank you all for all the speakers tonight for sharing and taking the time out to put this together. Yes, it just brings us so much of love, and thank you all of you. And as Omsha said, thank you to the organizers in Kenya and from South Africa as well for assisting us. So before we leave, or before we get Swami Parantapa, the keynote speaker, there are a few pictures that we asked everybody to send in. So I think Marilyn will just share a few of them, and just to give everybody background of the group Sangha. Oh, there you go. And what was happening on our trip and how it is. So see the first picture. I see there's the first group of devotees. I don't know. There was a joke on the group that somebody held a gun to them, so they put all their hands up in the air. So I just think that was the joy of landing in Kenya. It was the first flight of the group of devotees that landed there. Everybody up there, and the second one being everybody in the bus ride to their accommodation. So that's everybody in happy faces, happy spirits without their masks on, and Kriyananda without his mask, you know, what's happening? Hey, Kriyananda, naughty boy. So that's everybody, the group of devotees there. 3 and 4, 3 as well. I think they were going from accommodation to darshan. I see everybody carrying their flowers, probably the first or second day of darshan, and just having fun, and the kids there, and just all of us together. It's so much of fun when you all in the same, and also the fourth one as well. Everybody in there. I see very heavy conversations happening there, and calculations out, and everybody happy. The next being, and there's a little baby. Okay. Slide picture 5. There's all the Matajis. I was just there holding the camera for the picture because nobody had longer arms, so I'm there just to check out the picture. So we got the Matajis all dressed in their beautiful attire and their tilaks, and up in the I think it was in the canteen, I think, and one of the, I think his name is Raju as well. He took such a liking to us and seeing us dressed, and he started joining in on the pictures, and it just made it him so he just transformed. He just started getting so happy for all of us, and taking out pictures with us, and so yet again, chapter picture 6 showing, I think that was up in the canteen at the Ram Mandir, and where we were having lunch, and all the Matajis and Ryan up there taking some selfies and pictures. 7, I'm thinking this is at the hotel. Mataji is ready to board the bus in the early morning. Everybody dressed up with the tilaks, and amazing. And Serena as well out there. Serena, other Anga Devi Dasi, Quinzell, Abhaya Prada, Skanda Devi doing the selfie camera. Picture 8 as well. We go up in the canteen at the Ram Mandir. Everybody taking out the pics, and you can see the brahmacharis and the brahmacharanis in the yellow attire. Pic 8 as well. All the Matajis. There's Anita. And Latasha's out there as well with Quinzell. It's amazing. Happy smiles, everybody smiling, happy, glowing faces. You can go to the next slide. Main man into the picture. Guruji walking in at the Ram Mandir, littered with petals. He's sitting on his asan in the 11. Swami Panatapa coming to shake things up with the kirtans, and he also gave his satsang. And then we had slide 13 or picture 13, the little ones also did a dance for the Vrindavan to the Vrindavan kirtan, which they just learnt. They put this together in a matter of hours, and did this for Guruji, presented it to Guruji, and it all went lovely. He loved it. He was smiling and clapping along. It was amazing. And in 14, there's kirtans happening, and everybody up. You don't see the other half of the picture here because everybody's dancing. Everybody's up on the floor. You can see a little bit in the back there of everybody with their hands up in the air and everybody on the dance floor dancing for Guruji. And 15, I'm seeing Quenzal getting a blessing from Swami Parantapa. I'm thinking maybe that blessing was for initiation. Sorry, for Om chanting coordinator. I'm sure Quenzal would be. She would she would start holding her circle soon. You can go to the next slide if there is. Okay. This is Rakesh's place next door to Ram Mandir. Rakesh's place, as we heard from everybody tonight, the manifestations of Guruji being virtually there in at the home. So he manifests in, as you can see, Mother Mary on pictures of Shirdi Sai, Guruji himself, Yogananda, collage of Guruji in picture 16. There's just so much, and it's if it's removed, it's just always there. It's always manifesting. It's always producing itself. There's oil. There's amrit, vibhuti. There's kumkum on the mother. It's constantly. He's constantly there. The vibe and the energy in that room is quite amazing. This is at the yagna, the installation of Yoga Narasimha at the Kenyan Center at SDS 3 Towers, SDS Hall at 3 Towers. Yagna happening 24, 25. 26 is Abhishekam to Sangha, and if everybody knows the story of how Jwala was installed in Joburg and the storm that took place when Guruji was there, ho and behold, in Kenya, the weather changed on that morning, and during that time of installation, there was a 1 hour duration. I think it was between 3:30 and 4 that the heavens just opened and the rain just came down with a lot. Our shoes and stuff were kept outside. Everything was just drenched. Everything was just wet. You went back, and because of COVID, we had a rotation of people that would of devotees that will come in groups of 5 or 4, and you went back outside to get your stuff. It was just soaked. Everything was just soaked. There's Guruji doing the final arati on the day, and that's at the end of it, all decked out. This was 28 was the Om chanting that was held on the Tuesday. I think Omsha spoke about that. Santhoshi, Dasi, Nithya, Santhoshi. This was everybody on the rooftop of the hotel doing. We just completed our Om chanting there when everybody has lots of energy, lots of experience, lots of tears, lots of everything. And as we can see as well in the front, the canteen manager, he's there as well. Arjun, is it Raju? I think Raju, he also came up, and he is just beautiful. He's just loving it. He wanted more pictures and more videos, and just loved talking to all the devotees, and he started listening to bhajans and kirtans, and who's this Guruji talking about? I want a picture, give me a picture. He started just a complete love for Guruji after that. Is there any more, Meral? Yes, okay, and this being welcoming new devotees and the experiences in Kenya, we're welcoming two new devotees to the Bhakti Marga family. Um, one baby being with Sandhya, and the second one being with Prabhanjani, baby Arav Shay, and the other one being Rav Ravima, baby girl. So I just got a message come in here. Okay. I think Swamiji was he's a bit busy on his end, so he would not be able to chat with us. I think he will do a satsang at a later stage with everybody. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to thank the background people as well for doing all the things they do and setting up this meeting and setting up, coordinating and putting the effort in, organizing pictures and the whole setup. So thank you for you guys for advertising and putting everything together. Thank you to the speakers for being there, and thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. I know there's lots going on. There's many meetings happening. I know if we did go over time, and for any mishaps or misdemeanors or anything that was said that was taken out of context, please do forgive us, and I do apologize for anything that was said by on my part as well. So please forgive me. Do bring it to my attention, and I can correct that in future. So thank you one and all. I will close with the prayer. So if you can all join me, and then we will end this meeting. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mityoma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sugino Pavantu Loka Samasta Sugino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Jai Gurudev.